हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। Har Har Mahadeva. Hari Om. Hari Om. We shall begin with the Shanti Mantra. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagam Sastanuvihi Veshema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastaksho arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We shall chant the mantras which we have seen from the beginning. Om Brahma Devanam Prathama Sambhabhuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta Sa Brahma Vidyam Sarva Vidya Pratishtham Atharvaya Jeshtaputraya Praha Atharvaneyam Pravadeta Brahma Atharvatam Purovachangire Brahma Vidyam Sa Bharadvajaya Satyavahaya Praha Bharadvajo Angirase Paravaram Shaunako Havai Mahashalo Angirasam Vidivat Upasannah Papracha Kasminnu Bhagavo Vidnyate Sarvamidam Vidnyatam Bhavatiti Tasmai Sahovacha Dve vidde veditavve iti hasma yad brahma vido vadanti para chaiva para cha tatra para rigvedo yajurvedah samavedo atharvavedah shiksha kalpo vyakaranam niruktam chando jyotishamiti atha para yaya tadaksharam adigamyate. So this is a beautiful Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad from Atharva Ved, and it begins by indicating the Guru Shishya Parampara, which begins from Ishvara. Ishvara alone gives this knowledge to Brahma, and Brahma gave this to his eldest son, and then he gave it to his disciple. In this way, through this Guru Shishya Parampara, this knowledge is revealed. And this parampara is going on unbroken even now. This knowledge cannot be obtained just through our own observation and experimentation and through our own intellect. Knowledge about Dharma and knowledge about Brahma is not possible to obtain by ourselves. Nor can a group of people obtain this knowledge. It is beyond our senses, beyond our mind. Therefore, this has to be attained only through a teacher and following a proper parampara. So Shaunaka approached the teacher Angirasa and asked this question, Ki kasminno bhagavo vidnyate sarvamidam vidnyatam bhavati. Ki what is that knowing which everything becomes known? What is that one thing knowing which everything becomes known? Means, what is that one which is the very essence of everything, very swarupa of everything? So the teacher replies, first he says that there are two types of knowledge, the lower knowledge and the higher knowledge. And in the lower knowledge he names all the Vedas and all the Angas of the Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajurved, Samaved, Atharvaved, and Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chanda and Jyotish. all these are indicated as apara vidya, means lower vidya. And this Vedas also include Upanishad. So how come Upanishads are also categorized as lower vidya? Because Upanishads, they indicate that Supreme Brahma. They give the knowledge of that Brahma. So how the Upanishads are also categorized as lower vidya? So that question may come into our mind, and Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya raises this question, and he says that what we mean by the Vedas are the Shabda Rasi, not only the knowledge of Dharma, but one can also gain theoretical understanding of Brahma. But theoretical knowledge of Brahma alone is not Paravidya. One has to gain direct realization of that Brahma. So that direct realization of that Akshara Brahma itself is indicated as Paravidya, means higher Vidya. So atha para yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. So that knowledge which it gives the direct experience of our own Supreme Self, that Brahma, is that Paravidya. And this Paravidya alone dispels all ignorance and releases us from the samsara. And also it is the answer to the question of the disciple, that Brahma is one, knowing which everything will become known. Because that Brahma alone is the very essence of everything, the Swarupa of everything. So knowledge of that Brahma, Akshara Brahma, itself is called Paravidya. The direct realization of that Brahma is Paravidya. So what is that Paravidya? What is that Supreme Brahma, knowing which everything becomes known, which is indicated as Paravidya? So that is now revealed in the following mantra, mantra number 6. So let us chant mantra 6. Yattad adrishyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushrotram tad apanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tad avyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. Once more. Yat tad adrishyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushrotram tad apanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tad avyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. So that Akshara Brahma is indicated here with lots of adjectives. So that has to be comprehended and realized directly. So this Brahma alone is the very essence of everything in this world. See, the whole world, what we experience is the karya, the effect of this Brahma alone. And in this karya, the cause is present but is hidden. It is not available for our senses, for our mind. It is hidden. So all that we know in this world through our senses and through all our experimentation is only part of this world alone. We only know the effect. We don't know the cause. So that cause, that Brahma is indicated here with so many adjectives. So let us see each one of them. So yat tad adreshyam, that which you have asked, that akshara, that paravidya is adreshyam, is something which cannot be seen. Adreshyam, adreshyam, sarvesham buddhi indriyanam agamyam iti etat. That Brahma cannot be seen through our sense organs. See, we have these 5 sense organs through which we experience Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So our eyes, our ears, our nose, our skin, our tongue. Through this we experience this world. And we observe this world with the help of these sense organs. And there are things which are so subtle which we observe by enhancing this sense organ. Suppose a very fine, tiny little thing is there. If our naked eyes, with our naked eyes we can't see, we can make use of a microscope to see it, or an electron microscope to see it. Then there are certain things which are so far away we can't see it. So we use telescope, we use the various other radio telescopes and all to observe. But whatever we observe, whether directly with our senses or with the help of some instruments, all that we observe is the effect only, is the karya. That karana, that Brahma, cannot be seen through any of these senses. Though it is present everywhere, but it cannot be seen with our senses. That is the first thing which is mentioned here. See, just as this pot is there, which is made from clay, now about this pot, we can not only see the pot with our eyes, but we can also experience and see the clay with our eyes. So both the cause as well as effect is pursued through our senses, as far as this pot is concerned. But when we take this world, then the world is pursued through our senses, but the cause of the world, the very essence of the world which pervades this world, cannot be seen through our senses. So Brahma is that which cannot be seen, heard, touched, tasted, or smelt. It is just beyond the comprehension, means beyond the scope of the senses. So all that we see is not the Swarupa of Brahma. So adreshyam sarvesham buddhi indriyanam agamyam iti etat drishehe bahihi pravrittasya panchendriya dvarakatvat. So through these senses we see this outer world, but we can't see that Brahma. Okay, we cannot see that Brahma, but can we grasp that Brahma? Can we interact with that Brahma? There are certain things, objects also, which are so far away we can't see, but we can interact with them. Even with our mobile and phone and all, though we cannot see the person with whom we are speaking, But we can use that mobile and talk to that person, interact with that person. So is it possible to interact with Brahma with the help of our Karabindriyas? Can we grasp that Brahma? Can we move into Brahma? Can we do something by which we can affect that Brahma? Is it possible? So the Shastra says no, it is not possible. It is agrahyam, means karmendriya avishayam iti etat. It is not the object of the organs of action. With the organs of actions, we can't interact with this Brahma. With our speech, we can't interact with Brahma. With our hands, legs, organs of urination, excretion, we can't interact with Brahma. It cannot touch Brahma. All these senses, all these organs. Therefore it is called agrahyam, cannot be grasped through the karmendriyas. Then it is agotram. Agotram means it doesn't have a mool, it doesn't have a root, it doesn't have a cause. That Brahma, that supreme reality, doesn't have any other cause. See, in this, the beauty of this world is that whatever we observe in this world, we find that there is some other thing which is the cause of that. So we always come up with some intermediate causes of this world. We look at this any object or let us say a tree is there, then we find that the seed is the cause from which the tree is come. But the seed also is an effect of some other tree. Or if we try to find out what is the cause of this matter, then we reach water element. But what is the cause of water? The fire element. What is the cause of fire? The air element. What is the cause of air? The space. So whatever we observe, we keep on observing more and more subtler effect only. And that is what happens in the field of science also. The more they observe the world, the more they understand the effect, which is the intermediate cause, not the ultimate cause. So this Brahma is agotram. It is that which doesn't have any cause. It doesn't have any root. Therefore it is called agotram. Just as we also have some gotra from whom we are born, some rishi from whom we are born, but Brahma doesn't have any gotra. So gotram anvayo moolam iti anarthantaram. Agotram anvayam ityarthaha. Na hi tasya moolam asti ena anvitam syat. It doesn't have any root by which it is derived. So it doesn't have a cause. It is causeless. As our Pujya Gurudev used to say, that Brahma is the causeless cause of this world. Then, but can we at least describe it? He says, no, you cannot even describe it. Varnyante iti varnaha dravya dharmaha stulatvadayah शुक्लत्वादयः वा अविद्यमाना varna yasya tad avarnam aksharam. See, if certain things have got some properties, some physical properties we can describe, or some other properties we can describe, or it has got some activities, some actions that can be described, or some relationship that can be described. For example, we see some object, we can see the color, the form of that object, and we can describe that object. Or if that object is used for certain purpose and all, we can, through that action, we can describe that object, that it is something to write. Or if it has got some relationship with other object also we can describe. But Brahma is such that it doesn't have any qualities like Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, or big, small, long, short, thin. No qualities. Therefore it cannot be described, and there is no action happening in Brahma. So through its activities also we can't describe it. Nor is it related to anything by itself. So it cannot be described in any way. Therefore it is called avarnam. It is extremely subtle. Then further the mantra says ki achakshushrodram, that Brahma doesn't have eyes or ears. It doesn't see anything, doesn't hear anything. It doesn't have eyes or doesn't have ears. Shankaracharya ji writes ki chakshuscha shrotrancha nama rupa vishaye karane sarva jantunam. With the eyes, with the ears, all the beings they hear, they see. But te avidyamane yasya tad achakshuhu shrotram. But these are not there in that Brahma. But still that Brahma is indicated, we will see in the mantra ahead, it is indicated as Sarvajna, as Sarvavita, as all knower, one who knows everything in general and everything in particular. So one may think that Brahma also must be having eyes, ears, nose, or mind, intellect. He says no. Iti chetanavatva visheshanat praptam samsarinam iva chakshushrotradibhihi karanaihi artha sadhakatvam tad iha achakshushrottram iti varyate. Though it is sarvajna, sarvavita, but it doesn't have eyes and ears. But it is of the nature of knowledge itself. Therefore, the Upanishad also says that it can see without eyes, it can hear without ears. Pashyati achakshuhu sashrunoti akarnaha ityadi darshanat. Though Brahma itself doesn't have eyes, ears, but it is of the nature of knowledge itself. It knows everything without eyes, without nose, without ears, without mind, without intellect. Most amazing. Kincha tad apanipadam. What about the Karmendriyas? Are they in Brahma? Does Brahma have hands and legs? So the scripture says no. Kincha tat apani padam. It doesn't have any hands to hold anything. doesn't have legs to move. Karmendriya rahitam iti etat. See, this is so subtle, but it can be understood. Later on, it will be indicated that Brahma, which is so very mysterious and so subtle, cannot be seen, heard, that Brahma is our own inner self. This Pratyek Atma is itself that Brahma, which is so mysterious. We experience our own existence in the waking, in the dream, along with the upadhis, along with our body, along with our mind. But this body, mind are outer conditionings. They are not in my Swarupa. When I am in deep sleep, I am actually separated from there is all this body, mind, senses, etc. So just think about the deep sleeper. You in deep sleep. Can anyone see a person who is sleeping? Can anyone see that person? We can see the body, but can you see that person, that entity? That entity cannot be seen through any of our sense organs. Is there can we interact with that entity? We cannot interact also. Is there any activity happening there? Nothing is happening there. So that mysterious self which we experience as my own self in deep sleep, that is actually Brahma, and all these adjectives which are given there can be seen in that Pratyek Atma. So it is adreshyam, agrahyam, agotram, avarnam, achakshushrodram, apanipadam, and therefore it is nityam. Because there is no interaction happening, there is no change happening in that Brahma, which is, therefore it is nityam, it is eternal. It is eternal existence itself, untouched by anything. Therefore it is indicated as nityam, means avinashi, indestructible. Nothing can destroy it. But at the same time, another very strange nature of that Brahma is that it is vibhu, vibhum. What is vibhum? Vibhum means vividham brahmadis tavaranta prani bhedaihi bhavati iti vibhum. That though that Brahma by itself is very subtle, cannot be seen, no activities happen there, but that Brahma alone has got the nature by which it expresses as everything. That Brahma alone is expressing as everything. Vividham brahmadis tavaranta prani bhedaihi bhavati. Right from Brahmaji to all the devatas and all the rishi munis and all the beings of all other lokas and all the beings on earth, animal, birds, plants, all of them are expression of that Brahma alone. It's a vibhum. By itself, it is so mysterious. but it also by nature expresses as everything. See, this we can understand a little bit if we take the example of hydrogen. Hydrogen is a gas which cannot be seen. You can't see hydrogen. You can't see oxygen also. Though we are breathing oxygen, we can't see oxygen. But this hydrogen and oxygen, when it comes together, get bound to each other, forms a molecule of H2O. When it forms this molecule, suddenly it becomes visible as water. What we see as water and what we drink and what we interact with, that water is nothing but hydrogen and oxygen only. Though hydrogen by itself and oxygen by itself cannot be seen, but when it expresses as water, it can be seen. And it not only expresses as water, as liquid, but it also expresses as solid, ice. And it also, this hydrogen and oxygen molecule also expresses as steam, and also expresses as soft snow. So it looks so many varieties. The snow is so different, fluffy, like cotton. That ice is so strong, like a rock. Water is so soft and flowing and liquid. Steam is like a gas only. And they behave differently. The snow behaves differently, ice behaves differently. But and we can make different objects also from that. Many people, they make different ice sculptures, various types of figures they make from ice. But if you want to know the essence of all this ice, water, snow, steam, what is that one thing knowing which everything will be known? What is that one thing which is pervading, which pervades all this? And that is hydrogen and oxygen. But hydrogen, oxygen by themselves are not seen. Similarly, that Brahma, which by itself is not seen, cannot be heard, cannot be tasted, that Brahma alone, by its own nature, expresses as this world. And the nature of the expression is so different. It is seen constantly changing, but that Brahma is Nityam, and this expression is constantly changing. Brahma itself is Anantam, infinite, but the expressions we see, so many different limited objects expressing. Brahma itself is Jnana Swarupa, Jnanam, but the expressions are Jada, inert. So though the expressions appears to be different from the very nature of Brahma, but that Brahma is present in this expression. Though the ice is different from oxygen and hydrogen, but hydrogen and oxygen is present in ice, is present in snow, is present in water, is present in steam, See, there are people who might not have seen snow. And if that snow is shown to them, they will not even guess that it is the same thing, that the same essence which is there in snow is there in water also. So this mysterious Brahma alone expressed as this world, and by its own nature. That nature of that Brahma is what we call Maya or Prakriti. By its very nature, it expresses as this world. Not only express as the world, but also express as the seer of the world. And when we see this world, we are seeing the qualities which are not there in Brahma, which are not there in the Swarupa of Brahma. So Vibhum, Vividham Brahmadi Stavaranta Prani Bhedaihi Bhavati iti Vibhum. Again, that Brahma is Sarvagatam. When it expresses as this world, it is present in each and everything of this world. Nothing exists without that Brahma. In fact, nothing can exist without Brahma. Just like ornaments cannot exist without gold. The pot cannot exist without clay. Similarly, world cannot exist without Brahma. Brahma is pervading the entire world. In Gita, Bhagavan says that I pervade this world. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyaktamurtina. I pervade this whole world in my unmanifest, unseen form. You will not be able to see me, but I am present everywhere in everything. Therefore, he is called Sarvagatam, pervading everything. Vyapakam Akashavat, like Akash. But at the same time, that Brahma is Susukshmam, extremely subtle. Subtle means cannot be comprehended through our senses, because there is no sound, there is no touch, there is no sight, there is no smell, there is no taste in that Brahma. Therefore, it is extremely subtle. So, Shabdadi Stulatva Karana Rahitatvat. There are no qualities like Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Because when these qualities are there in Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. And because of these qualities, they are subtle and they are become gross. Akash is subtle, Vayu is grosser, fire is still gross, water is grosser, and earth is grossest. But these qualities are not there in Brahma, so therefore it is Susukshmam. All the qualities which we see in the effect is not in the cause. But that cause alone expresses as the effect. So, kincha tad avyayam uktam ukta dharmatvad eva na veti iti avyayam. And also that Brahma is avyayam. Avyayam means there is no decay happening in Brahma. It doesn't decay. It doesn't get wasted. It doesn't get spoiled. There is no decay happening in Brahma. So it is called avyayam. No change, no modification happens in Brahma. Also, Shankaracharya ji writes, कि नहीं अनंगस्य स्वांग अपचय लक्षणो व्यय संभवति शरीरस्य इव. That Brahma doesn't have any limbs. So generally when things have some parts or limbs, when those parts are broken, then that object gets spoiled, it gets decayed. When that parts are destroyed, the object gets destroyed. But Brahma doesn't have any parts to get decayed or destroyed. Also sometimes certain person is dependent on someone. So when that support goes away, then that person gets destroyed. Like a king depends on some wealth. But if that wealth get destroyed, the king also get destroyed. Napi kosha apachaya lakshano vyaya sambhavati rajnya iva. All the wealth of the king is lost, then the king also get lost, get destroyed. So, is there something on which the Brahma depends, and that if that thing get destroyed, Brahma will get destroyed? No, it is independent. It doesn't depend on anything. Brahma doesn't depend on anything for its existence. Nor are there any qualities in Brahma which, if the qualities get destroyed, then the Brahma will get destroyed. But there are no qualities. If a thing has got some qualities, and that when those qualities get spoiled, then that thing gets spoiled. But Brahma is nirguna. So na api gunadvarako vyayah sambhavati. Agunatvat sarvatmakatvacha. Brahma doesn't have any guna. And this Brahma is sarvatmaka, is the very Atma of everyone. Brahma is the very self of us all. So very wonderful, so very mysterious. Nothing can be greater than this understanding and realization of that Brahma. Further, he says कि यद एवं लक्षणम भूत योनिम भूतानाम कारणम पृथ्वी इव स्थावर जंगमानाम परिपश्यन्ति धीराः. That this Brahma, again the scripture says, is bhuta yonim. Bhuta yonim is the very yoni, the very source of all beings, of all creation. Is the very source of all creation. See, in the Upanishad also, in Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said in the beginning itself, कि ब्रह्म विदाप्नोति परम. ओम ब्रह्म विदाप्नोति परम तदेशाभ्युक्ता सत्यम ज्ञानमनंतम ब्रह्म यो वेद निहितं गुहायां परमे व्योमन् सोऽश्नुते सर्वान् कामान् सः. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said that one who knows this Brahma gains the supreme. And after saying this, then the Brahma is indicated with three words: Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That Brahma is Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. And again further the Upanishad says that Brahma is that from which the world comes into existence, the world exists and world get dissolved. So by giving the lakshana of through the world, Brahma is indicated. What is Brahma? Brahma is that in which the world is born, the world exists and the world gets dissolved. In Brahma Sutra also, Brahma is indicated with the help of this world only, कि जन्माद्यस्य यतः. Brahma is that in which the world is born, world exists, and world again get dissolved, to be born again. That is the very nature, swabhava of Brahma. That is the very swabhav of Brahma. Again, to take the example of water, it is the very swabhav of that water to sometimes appear like ice, solid like rock, or it appears like liquid, means totally like liquid, or it appears like steam, it appears like snow. That is the very nature of that H2O. It is inbuilt, swabhav. Similarly, it is the swabhav of that Brahma to express as this world. So therefore, it is the very source, the very yoni of this world, bhuta yonim. In the next mantra, with various examples, this will be explained in more detail. So Brahma is the bhuta yoni. By itself, it has got different quality. I mean, it doesn't have any qualities which can be pursued through our senses. But when it expresses as this world, it behaves, it appears in totally a different quality altogether. So yad evam lakshanam, so this Brahma of this, all these adjectives which are given of Brahma, it is bhuta yonim, bhutanam karanam. It is the very cause of all creation. Prithvi iva stavara jangamanam. It is the very cause of all these things like Prithvi, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, and the entire cosmos with all the galaxies and stars and moon and sun. Paripashyanti sarvata atma bhutam sarva aksharam pashyanti dhiraha. And this Brahma of these qualities which are indicated here, the adjectives are given here, can be comprehended with a purified buddhi. When our buddhi becomes extremely pure, subtle, swachha, we are able to comprehend this Brahma. Therefore it says, dhiraha, the wise people, they see, they comprehend this Brahma. Sarvata atma bhutam, they come to know this Brahma as the very self of all. Atma bhutam sarvasya. Aksharam pashyanti dhiraha, dhimantaha, vivekinaha. The wise, intelligent seekers, they come to not only know this Brahma theoretically. Theoretically means intellectually. They can not only know this Brahma intellectually, but they can also realize this Brahma. Dhimantaha vivekina. Idrisham aksharam yaya vidyaya adhigamyate sa para vidya iti samudayarthaha. So this Brahma which is indicated with so many adjectives here, to directly realize that Brahma, experience this Brahma as our own self, that experience itself is called Paravidya, as the higher knowledge. See now, we have the experience of our own self. All of us, we know our own self, means we have the experience of our own self, means we have the experience of our own existence. We spontaneously, without the help of anything, we know that we exist. Yeah? All of you know that you exist. We don't have to even see anything. Even with our eyes closed, we know that I exist. See, if something exists, we have to look at that object. When we look at an object, we say, oh, this object exists, because I see it. But in case of us, even without seeing, hearing, we know that we exist. In fact, even when the senses are not functioning, when we are in dream, we know that I exist. When I wake up from my dream, I say that I was dreaming, means I was there. I was present there. But in my dream also I was using my mind. But when I go into deep sleep, means when the mind is also not functioning, I know that I exist. Very mysteriously, I know my existence even when the mind senses are not functioning in deep sleep. Therefore, when I wake up, I say, oh, I slept so happily. You slept happily? Who was sleeping? Actually, really speaking, I was not sleeping. The mind and intellect were sleeping, means they were not functioning. So, really speaking, in deep sleep, I was there, and mind and intellect, nothing was functioning. But my presence, I was existing, and my existence I know. When I wake up, I say I was there, I was sleeping. So without the need for any senses, for any mind, intellect, I can comprehend my existence. But the only problem is that I really don't know what is my nature. So when the mind functions, when the senses function, I immediately identify with the karya, with the effect. So I consider myself as having those effects. If the body changes, I say I am changing. If the body is of male, I say I am a man, I am a woman. If the body walks, I say I am walking. So I immediately identify with the objects and their qualities. And that itself is the cause for our sorrow, pain and samsara. So the Shastras say that these qualities don't belong to you, they belong to the effect. They belong to the world. You are beyond these qualities. You are that Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, beyond all these qualities. So that which I experience as I should know that I am Brahma. So that which is directly experienced as myself, I have to assert that self as Brahma, come to comprehend that self as Brahma. Then that itself, that comprehension, first intellectually, and then direct realization of it is what is called Paravidya, the higher knowledge. Okay? So it's very beautiful, very subtle. And from this Brahma alone, the whole world is manifest. Means the whole world is nothing but Brahma only. So how that Brahma is the Bhuta Yoni, how it is the very cause of this world, how this world has emerged from that Brahma, this is being now presented in the following mantra that we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and you listen to this pravachan again. Now that you have heard it, it is fresh in your antakarana. So when you listen to it, it will become more clear, and that understanding itself will transform you. That understanding itself is our sadhana. Okay? So we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Boliye Syavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.